Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Pizza Story podcast.
Yeah,
Today on the show, we're headed to Hamilton, Ontario to talk to the creator of the area's most elusive slice. From sourdough science to small batch hustle, please welcome the mastermind behind the cult favorite Cherry Ghost Pizza, Ethan. Hi, Ethan.
hey,
Welcome to the
how
podcast.
are you? Thank you.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, good. Busy day. Just literally walked in the door from making pizzas all day and happy to be sitting down with you now.
Very cool. So, I want to get into your story, but I've really been starting a lot of the podcasts with talking about, how you grow up, if you grew up in the local area, and just kind of like your early beginnings.
For sure, yeah. So yeah, I was born and raised in Hamilton, Ontario. On my mother's side, actually, we are Italian. My papa is actually from like Napoli, from Naples, which is just that is just the funny side of it where like I ended up falling into pizza. But yeah, I grew up with like kind of, like a very hardworking family. I was a skate rat. I loved skateboarding. And my mother would give me $20 and make me go, she would be like, go have fun with your friends. We would go down to the local slice shop, at the time, you could grab an extra large pizza for $20 and a 2-liter bottle of pop.
Yeah.
And then we'd sit there and eat crushed pizza and skate all day. From that, I just ended up falling into line. I didn't end up going to culinary school. I didn't end up going to school for anything. I was actually a musician for a while. And what happened was I was a bartender. I ended up getting into cooking, and I just fell in love with pizza. Pizza for me started as my father with English muffins, putting tomato sauce, cheese, and pepperoni sticks sliced up onto an
Wow.
English muffin for me. And I was like, this is the best. And still to this day, I'm in love with the smell of pizza, the taste of pizza. And I just started from just that early childhood memory to having that fresh slice, reheated slice, especially, is best for me.
Yeah.
That reheat crunch is just the best. So I grew up very falling in love with pizza at such an early age. Losing that when I became a chef and I became who I am today, and finding it again at an older age. And it was actually the first thing I ever made that I was like, there's chefs that are like, I made beef tartare and it reminded me of what I ate when I was a child. I was like, no, I took a bite of pizza that I made for the first time and I was like, this is the first time ever in my life as a chef that I love it. I was like, it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah, listen, I 100% agree with you. I want you to take me through the journey of the moment where you were the chef and then you decided that you wanted to go back into pizza and you wanted to do this as like a career.
For sure. So I was working at a now closed restaurant. I think they ended up rebranding. It was probably like 6 months before the pandemic, 4 months, 5 months before the pandemic hit. And I was working at this restaurant. I was the sous chef out at this restaurant, and they actually owned the pizzeria like two doors down.
Okay.
What happened was I was living with one of my best friends at the time, and he came home from like the grocery store one day, and he was like, "You want pizza for dinner?" I was like, "Sure." Where are we ordering from? And he was like, "Oh, we'll just make it." And for me, it's like again, I was plating with tweezers at work. But for me, making pizza at home wasn't like I was just like, well, that's not a thing. Like I don't even think Uni was out yet or Gosney was out yet. So no one was
Yeah.
really like guerrilla cooking in their backyard. If there was a pizza oven, you're doing like wood fire brick oven, right? Like, and what happened was I ate the pizza and I laughed and I was like, I can make this. And he was like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?" And I was like, "I can make this dough." So the first thing I did was I went to work the next day, like 2 hours early when no one was there, and I made probably the worst batch of dough I've ever made in my entire life. It was terrible. I used to give my sister dough too, and I look back now and I'm like, they ate the worst pizza of all time with that.
Oh,
And yeah, but then from there, I fell down the next 3 years of my life, I fell down a rabbit hole of figuring out what's gonna be the best for me, and I took a bite of a pizza made by my one friend, dear friend of mine. He actually owns a couple restaurants in Toronto, Ontario here, a sandwich shop. His name's Chris, and Chris taught me how to stretch a pizza properly, like a New York style stretch.
yeah.
Um, and he showed me how to stretch a pizza, and I asked him about dough, and he just laughed at me, and he went, "Buddy, no one ever gives out their dough secrets." And I was like, "Fair enough, I will figure this out." And then I ended up going down the sourdough route. and
Yeah.
I read Tartine Bread. I pirated it offline because I was, a young kid and I didn't have any money. And
Yeah.
I got it offline, and now I'm just sorry, Chad, but I do have the book now on paperback. Don't worry. But I'm going down the sourdough route because I was just in love with this idea of the places I worked before was bread, and I was like, well, if I could make bread, I can make pizza, right? I ended up leaving my friends, like leaving my the house I was living in with my friend. I moved into his apartment and had a new job making pizza at this restaurant. And what happened was the pandemic obviously was like full swing at this point. Lockdowns were happening. And I was living on this place, living on the street called James Street North in Hamilton, Ontario here, which is kind of like the arts district. It's a lot of restaurants, a lot of like musicians that live down there. It's kind of the place to go. Um,
Yeah.
and I was selling bread and pizza out of my apartment. I was doing
Wow.
like kind of Roman style, like on like, like the really bad sheet trays you cook at with home, you get from like your like any store, like your dollar store or whatever. I was cooking pizzas and just focaccias and just selling them to my friends because I didn't
Nice.
have a job really. I was working like twice a week, kind of cleaning a kitchen that was never worked in. But I just fell down this rabbit hole of pizza from there on, and it's just over the last 2 years, 3 years, it has exploded. It's just gone insane, and I'm the most thankful for it, and the fact that people can eat my pizza. But I always laugh where I'm like, if you ate my pizza back when I was at that restaurant, you would have hated
Yeah, wait till you try it now.
it, right? Exactly.
Very nice. So I love talking about sourdough. I have 2 sourdough babies in the fridge right now, and
Amazing.
I have fallen down the same rabbit hole, like, I will talk about sourdough for hours. So
Oh yeah.
tell
Oh
me
yeah.
why you decided on sourdough and kinda your experience with it.
Yeah. So like I was kind of saying, mm, it was funny enough. So one of the restaurant I worked at this pantry, bakery, butchery kind of situation. I was like helping run it at one point. It was chaos. This place I was working at. I've met
Okay.
some of the best chefs, some of the best bakers came from that little tiny place. One of the best butchers in the world here, Jamie Waldron. He taught me how to butcher. Mitchell Gatchiff out down at Barrel Heart Brewing in Dundas here. He's the head chef there. They just got Michelin recommended. He was there. There's just so many people that worked there that were so amazing. But I was always smelling the sourdough bread we were baking, that fresh bread. And I still to this day, I don't think there's any better smell than a freshly baked loaf of sourdough bread.
It's true.
There's something about it that just smells beautiful. So when I was making pizza, when I was like kind of making pizzas in my apartment here, or my old apartment, was like, how do you make a starter? I was really curious how to make that. And everyone, like everywhere I looked was like, go to your local sourdough bakery and pick it up. And I was like, no, I want to make my own.
Wow.
So funny enough, I actually ended up making my own from an orange. I had a thing of water and an orange that was going bad, and I let
Yeah.
the bacteria flow onto the water, and I started feeding that water, the healthy bacteria, and I created my first starter. It
Wow.
then took 3 weeks after that. I'm insane where I'm a nerd, and I was like,
No,
this
that's
is
so
possible, I
cool.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up, yeah. So after, 3 to 4 or 5 weeks, I kept feeding it. Again, I'm turning 29, so I'm still pretty young, but at this time I was like 21, 22 maybe, and I was just like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I think this is gonna work, but I just wanted to try it. And then I was still trying sourdough loaves with like starters I've bought in, but I was like, I don't really know what's happening here. And then the one day, it's like this one fateful day at 3 a.m. I made my first like real loaf of sourdough bread, and it looked beautiful. It looked like the bread that was in the walls of my store that I was helping. And the next night, I had off of work and I made pizza.
Wow.
Pizza was way better than the pizza from before, but I took a bite of it and I immediately called my mom at like 3 in the morning. I'm pretty sure. And I was like, I made sourdough pizza. And she was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine, but I made sourdough pizza. And that spun into something completely different. So then pandemic was starting to end. I ended up buying an uni oven, and then I just started recipe testing constantly. And still to this day, even pop ups, there's people that we see, and they're like, "It tastes different than last week." And I was like, I'm changing the recipe a little bit. I added a little more starter this time, and I'm explaining it to them. And we have some diehards that come out to our pop ups. They follow us around, and it's hilarious. Where they know my dough now, and they're just like, I taste something different now, and I'm like, I love it. That's kind of the reason why I kind of started sourdough, just because it was just an obsession where it was the sourdough craze in San Francisco. I wanted to bring it here. People were doing it, but no one wasn't really talking about it. And then I just was like, I want to do it in pizza. I was like, pizza seems like the best place to do this of all time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, coming from this, how was Cherry Ghost Pizza born?
Cherry, funny enough, Cherry Ghost Pizza was actually originally called Retro Pizza,
Mhm.
which no one knows. I don't think anyone knows that other than my family and my wife. It was originally called Retro Pizza, and I was gonna do this whole. I was a young kid with the dream of doing everything retro in the pizzeria. That did not work. I was like, that's impossible, and that's gonna cost me a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money as a child making pizza right now. Long
Sure.
story short, I made an Instagram account, and my brother-in-law Dan, we both loved the band Wilco,
Mhm.
and Wilco has a song called The Allegiance, and at the very end of the song, he says, "I'm a cherry ghost." And I heard that, and Dan, don't hate me, but I was like, "That's a great name for pizzeria." But I think he was like, I think it was him first that was like, "That's a great name for like whatever." And I was like, I made the Instagram account the next day and just started posting pictures of pizza. And
Wow.
I bought an uni oven, started posting pictures of pizza. And then one day someone messaged me. So I started getting followers, and I was like, well, what is happening? But I was tagging people, and I was just having fun. I was just cooking in my backyard. And all of a sudden I had someone be like, "Hey, can I order one of your pizzas? How do I order?" I was like, "I don't know. What do you want?" And they're like, "Pepperoni." And I was like, "Sure. Come by in 3 days, because that's how long the dough takes." And they were like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, the dough takes 3 days to make. That's my process. If you want a pizza, like, I don't know, how's $15?" And they were like, "What? That's ridiculously cheap. I'll give you 22." I was like, "Okay." I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea. And someone came up, and the next thing I know, I was getting pre-orders. I just started getting pre-orders. And then a place called Wildcat Tavern here in Hamilton, God bless them for letting me come and do my first pop-up there. Uh, and it was an experience where I got to, again, I've run restaurants, I've done that, but it was my first time cooking for myself and my own name and my own business. And it was amazing. It From there, it just snowballed. It has snowballed into something bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. And I've never been happier. My wife and I's third date was actually one of my pop-ups,
Wow.
where she was just like, sorry, why can't we go tonight?" I'm like, "I'm doing this pizza thing. Do you want to come and do it with me?" And she was like, "Hell yeah, for sure. I'd love to." And I was like, "Okay, cool." Which if anyone watching this has seen us, it's always been Haleigh and Ethan making, like, she's selling the pizzas and I'm making them in the back, and it's been a lot of fun. That's kind of how Cherry Ghost started. It was really cool.
That's so cool, and that's really one of the things that, like, I love about you guys. I was looking at the Instagram page and talked to you a little bit, but it really seemed like this is something that it has been created between you and your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really developed into, like, she always laughs where she's like, like, "You're the mad scientist, like, you're the one making the dough." And like, we've had friends help with like the front of house stuff and help bigger events, helping us like sling the pies, cutting pizzas. When it comes to the prep, the dough and all that, it's all me. And my wife has picked me up at 4 in the morning from our little kitchen space we have. She has let me come home at 5 a.m. because we sold out the night before, but we had a pop up 2 days later, and I had to make the dough at a certain time. And
Yeah.
and then when you see us at the pop up, my wife Haleigh is just as knowledgeable about what the pizza is as me, and because she also loves it. And people always make fun of us because I'm actually lactose intolerant, and she's actually has a gluten intolerance.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, but because it's sourdough, she can actually kind of eat it. It helps her digest a little more. And because of my specific cheese blend I use, I can actually like, kind of stomach the cheese. I cannot crush 6 pizzas, but like
Yeah.
I can still eat it. But yeah, it's been funny where we usually shut down during the winter time, and then we come back for the summertime in full force. And this year has been insane already, where we haven't even done a pop up yet, but we're getting booked for events. It's people that have just been like, "I love your wife and like you. It's so nice." It's been such a treat. We got married like on October 5th, and we had my Instagram was like blowing up with people just being like, "Congratulations, this is amazing. We love you guys." And I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And we flew to Italy right away. Go to Napoli, go
Marlow.
see where like and it was amazing. But yeah, it's been really special where we always laughed on that third date. We looked at each other and mind you, that pop up we did still to this day was the craziest pop up we've ever done. Where I
Yeah.
ran 4 pizzas, we run 2 now. We ran 4. I got so slammed, and I looked at her at one point, and she just went, "I love you. It's okay." And I was like, "I'm gonna marry this girl." Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, but it's definitely a family affair, and hopefully one day we got a little one with us. Slinging pies. That'd be amazing.
I absolutely love that's an incredible story. So take me
Thanks.
through your menu. I know you said that you used to do 4, but now you do 2, but I wanna talk about, like, what you serve.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So right away, the first staple pie that we always serve. We so pretty much every pop up we do, we used to do them weekly a lot of the times. It's a rotating list of 2 pies. So there's about like 5 pies that I would say are like our staple pies that we rotate through. And I always just try to do one staple plus a fun one for like new
Yeah.
stuff, like an andouille pie or something like that. But the first staple and is probably the pie I worked the hardest on was our cheese pizza. It's called Marlow's cheese.
Mhm.
Marlow's cheese is my niece Marlow, my youngest niece, is Haley's the pizza queen, but she's the pizza princess. She
Nice.
knows everything about pizza. My favorite thing was I remember we were up north one year and she took a bite of a crust of a pizza and went, "The webbing isn't good on this." And I was like, "Oh my God, I love you." But yeah, I worked my ass off to make this pie exactly how she wanted it. And it was like the best cheese pizza I possibly do. So that's our first one, Marlowe's cheese.
Nice.
It's mozzarella bread, our cherry ghost tomato sauce, which is a cooked down sauce with stuff in it, and then some Parmigiano Reggiano shaved over top lightly as soon as it comes out, just to melt into it. After that, we have a white light. White light is my favorite pizza. It's actually a play on Frank Pinello's pie at Best Pizza.
Okay.
And Frank, I actually gave him a shirt, and we've talked online. He's such a sweetheart of a guy, and that pizza's so good. I saw he did caramelized onions on his pizza, and I was like, I want to do that. So
Yeah.
it's a lemon ricotta that my wife
Mm.
Haleigh now makes. It's the only thing she really makes as like an ingredient because she was like, I want to make this, and she makes it so damn good that I'm like, it's your job. Lemon ricotta, caramelized onions, and then like just like fine chopped parsley just all over the pie. And then when it comes out, just some shaved lemon zest on it as well, and it's served with like a little lemon wedge on the side just to get that lemon taste again.
That sounds so good.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's the white light. It's a white pie and it's very light. It's such a refreshing pie. After that is a Windsor-style pepperoni.
Mhm.
Windsor-style pepperoni is a shredded pep. Again, we're a small batch business. We don't have machines. Like I make all my dough by hand. I don't have a mixer, so I'll make like
Yeah.
150 doughs by hand, like
Wow.
just mixing them in bus bins. So after that, yeah, is the shredded pepperoni where we'll take like bags of Venetian pepperoni here in Hamilton. It's the cup and char style,
Yeah.
and we will sit there with a knife, and I will sit there for like an hour and a half just shredding it by hand.
Wow.
But it's super nice. It pops up really beautiful. It's super crispy after it comes out of the oven. You probably sometimes I throw some whipped ricotta on there, but usually it's just the shredded pep, which is great. After that is the mushroom kingdom. Where it's 3 different types of mushrooms: like king oyster mushrooms, cremini mushrhrooms, and oh my god, I can't think of the name. Button mushrooms. I
Okay.
roast those off, hard roast those off with a bunch of different types of herbs I use, kind of like my blend that I also use in my sauce.
Mhm.
Roast those off. I do a mascarpone cream base on the pizza.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just like a light layer of mozzarella because the base is already cheesiness, and it kind of gives you that like texture. The After it comes out of the oven with the mushrooms on top and the mozzarella comes out of the oven, I usually hit it with I call it the kingdom sauce, which that one is a little secret sauce,
Okay.
kind of like my baby. Gets hit with this like white drizzle over top of it, and then usually some parsley again on top or some chives on top, just for some
Nice.
color, which is very great. Yeah, and then after that, which is like my favorite, like another one of my favorite pies is just the dill pickle pizza one. I run it
Mhm.
very little. I never really run this pizza, but it's the sleeper
Okay.
pizza. My friend Solar, who actually She has a secret pickle pizza. He owns a restaurant called My Pie. It's a Detroit style place down in Hamilton here. Absolutely amazing. I ate his pickle pizza and I was like, I want to do this. I want to try this. We rented out like 3 pop-ups, and the first time we ran it, we were setting up at the pop-up and we had a line of like 20 people standing there already waiting for the pickle pizza. And I was like, "Oh, no." And I looked at my wife and I was like, "We're screwed." I was like, "I'm gonna sell it. We're gonna sell it in an hour. This is good." But yeah, and then it's the pickle pizza as well. But yeah, those are kind of our staple pies we do. But again, always rotating, always doing new things. I came 4th place in a Canadian competition this year, and I ran like a Mexican street corn pizza at the competition. Out of like 25 people, I ended up coming 4th. But yeah, it was like a Mexican street corn pizza, and I tried that. I was like, my wife and I were like, we're demoing it at home, trying it, and we were like, oh, we got to put this on at a pop up as well. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Wow, you have some really, really cool pizzas.
Thank you.
That's so incredible. Can we talk about where can people find you? Like, where are you guys popping up somewhere where people can be like, okay, I can go here and get this pizza?
Yeah. So as of right now, we're taking mostly a lot of catering gigs, like weddings and stuff like that. Just because my wife and I also do a lot of consulting on the side where I go to pizzerias or I go to like places with dough and I just help them out. But as of right now, I will say there is 2 big things going on right now. There's a secret pop-up coming because we've been so inactive over the winter because we just can't cook outside, and I refuse to cook outside. uh,
Sure. Yeah, you're in
there is
Canada.
this, yeah, there exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a secret pop up coming. So there will be a pop up in Hamilton, Ontario, happening probably next month,
Okay.
probably early to mid next month, where we will be running probably 3 pizzas and also more things as well. But yeah, just keep an eye out on our Instagram page. We'll post well in advance. Other than that, if people want to have me cook in their backyard, I will gladly do that as well because I will never turn down a pizza party.
Very cool. Guys, I want you to go and follow them at Cherry Ghost Pizza on Instagram. And Ethan, where else can they find you guys?
Mostly just on Instagram. We also have a website that's linked on our Instagram as well. It has our email, it has everything on there, and you can contact us directly through our website. And it goes right to my phone, and I usually give you a call or a text message right after that.
Awesome. And is there anything else that you want people to know about you guys that they may not know from just walking up or just seeing your Instagram page?
Yeah, the biggest thing I think I want people to kind of take away whenever time they eat our pizza, or even if they come and say hey, is that the reason we do this is because not only do we love pizza, like everyone that makes pizza, you got to be insane to do it a little bit. You got to love it. You got to really love it. Because it's a grind, it's a hustle. Like nobody wants to work 120 hours a week, but
Right.
you do it because you love it. But at the end of the day, when every time I just want for us, and Haleigh and I have talked about this, we want someone to eat our pizza and think we want our pizza to be thought about the next day. We want people to think about, oh man, we got to go back next week to get some leftovers for the next day. We want people to really love the pizza, but most importantly, we just want people to understand that's like the reason we do this is because we love it. We don't do it to make a bunch of money and like, yeah, we're gonna open up a brick and mortar one day, 100%. It's all right. It's that fun fact. It's actually already in the works. But
Nice.
yeah, but at the end of the day, right now, we just want people to just, have fun, love pizza, and just be excited. That's all we really want. And at the end of the day, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, people like you and your wife are the people that should be making pizza. You truly love it. You're creating this like really amazing, unique thing. You have all these pizzas that are like so cool. And I'm really am excited for you guys to move into your next steps.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Of course, Ethan, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. It's been awesome.